Greetings and salutations, one and all. Welcome to another fantastic week of Olympus Rises episode, lucky number 13. I'm glad you all could be here today on this wonderful, if you're here live on this wonderful Sunday evening, or if you're watching this perhaps on YouTube, then some other later date. Appreciate you taking the time to watch the content. I really enjoy that. However, we're going to jump right into it here. We had a bit of a technical snafu. So this first part's going to be about 12 to 15 minutes short. No problems. We know how to deal with technical snafus here at Mega Games Incorporated. So, without further ado, let me unmute, say hello to the party. We'll see how they have all been all week, and then we'll get into, or for the past 2 weeks. Sorry, we had to take 2 weeks. We'll get into what they're going to do in this session.
Now I just want McDonald's. I hate you, Devin.
Okay, that's good. That's a good thing to start off with.
That's embarrassing.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
This is why you watch to see when Jordan undeafens himself.
Not all you, Matt, okay?
You have to watch. Otherwise, this happens.
Otherwise, we find out that Megan's obsessed with McDonald's. Go figure.
Right now, I'm hungry, man.
No, I can live with that because I think that I get these cravings for a double cheeseburger every so often that are like carnal, and like I need to go to McDonald's immediately and get a double cheeseburger. Don't know what it is. It must be the crack.
Probably.
Carnal craving.
Seriously. As someone who is an addictive personality, I know what cravings are, and yeah, for sure. Every now and then, I just need a double cheeseburger from McDonald's in my mouth immediately.
So random question about places that serve food. When you get like a value meal, and it comes with like your fries and a drink or whatever side the drink.
Yeah.
Why is it that like when you get a medium fry is relatively large, but a medium drink is relatively small? Like I feel like.
Well, okay. So hilariously, I think that I mean I agree with you. I always prefer more drink than like fries. But also our perception is so skewed as to the size of drinks at restaurants.
Well, I just meant in reference to each other in the meal.
I think that's probably because when you're thirsty, you often eat more.
True. Yeah.
I did not know this.
So yeah, so your body will manipulate you into thinking that you are hungry when you're actually just dehydrated.
Well, I knew that one. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Cool.
But yes, I agree. I'm as a chronic soft drink consumer, I often wish that drinks are more. I always get like light ice or no ice in my drinks. Because fuck them filling that shit all the way up with ice and telling me that I'm losing calories. Fuck you, by the way, Coke machines. By the way, if you guys don't know this, Coke Freestyle machines will fucking lie to you. Well, they're not technically lying, but they're lying by omission. Because they say, hey, add ice to your drink, it reduces the calories. Well, of course it does, Coke Freestyle machine, because I'm only getting half the fucking drink anymore. So you know what? Go fuck yourself.
I'm sorry.
Wait, what's a Coke Freestyle machine?
Thank you, Meg.
What?
What?
I have
Thank
no
you.
fucking clue what you're talking about.
It's a soda fountain machine
So
that allows you to choose any and all combinations of soda, Powerade, anything.
Yeah, they don't have those in.
You can literally make
or
like
Wisconsin, apparently.
you can make like a chocolate
What?
Sprite.
I've literally never
What?
heard of this or seen one of these in my entire life.
it
I've
literally
never heard of
has
them.
its own website. Like that's how they've replaced everything with these.
Huh? Well, apparently not, because anywhere I've ever been ever has never had one of these.
What? That astounds me.
Yeah.
I thought this
Nope,
was a
I've never
global
seen these.
phenomenon.
These are cool looking. It'd be neat to interact with one, but I've never seen one before ever.
Really? That is...
It's the tourist destination of the world.
I guess, yeah, that must be it, right?
Yes.
Listen, there's a...
This has got to be a southern thing.
Listen, at Disney Springs, there is an entire merchandise slash bar slash restaurant store that is a Coca-Cola store. In fact, I took pictures once with the polar bear hat on, and I sent them in the Discord, where it is based around this entire machine and what it does and how it works.
Wait, why is there an app associated with it? I don't
Because
understand.
Because it's amazing.
no, yeah, like I cannot believe that there is any location in Florida that is living in the future as opposed to
Do you
anywhere
guys
else
have-
in the world.
You guys have Wawas, right?
No, we
No,
don't have
they don't have
either.
Wawas.
What?
Well, so Wawa does Wawa's
That's actually something I've seen before. I've
Wawa is a weird thing though. So
What?
Wawa exists in Pennsylvania
Yeah, in Philly. That's the only place I saw one.
and then the South. Like that's it. That's where they exist. Pennsylvania
Well,
and then Florida. That's it.
The only reason I mentioned is because they have the Coke Freestyle machines in the Wawas.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I
Correct.
should've went in
Are
the
you
Wawa.
even
Maybe
speaking
there was one
English?
Mostly.
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills right now.
You're
there. That's how I felt the first time they talked about
No,
Wawa's
you have to
food
go into the
network.
gas station and you have to get a sandwich that they make in
God.
the gas station.
Dude, it is the most delicious sandwich
Oh,
you'll ever
like
eat in your
a
entire life.
prawn and mayo from the gas station.
No. Look, here. I'm just
Oh.
gonna start linking stuff in Discord now because apparently you guys are all living in the past. This is Wawa. Wawa is
Yes.
the most amazing place, and it's taking over Florida. It's literally more populous in the Orlando area than 7-Elevens now.
I
No, I'm
would
serious.
disagree with you there.
There,
There are
there,
definitely more 7-Elevens.
there are
It's-
f-
you don't see
there
them as
are-
much because they're not as big and they're not as pretty.
I don't know about that. There are 3 on my way to work now.
I think they have like 50 some locations in Orlando the last time I checked. And
Nice.
I'm pretty sure 7-Eleven still has somewhere near 100.
Oh my god. Still, Wawa's delicious. You guys need the Wawa for sure. For sure. Anyway, sorry about my rant on Coke Freestyle machines. It's literally bullshit sometimes. But yeah, no, so the whole point of the Coke Freestyle machine is that instead of just having the one, like, keg that goes to the thing that you put your drink under, right? It is all filtered through a single nozzle. So what you can do is you can basically, if you as a kid ever made a suicide, or whatever you called them, where you mixed all of the different soft drinks in one cup. No one? Okay, good.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Devin. Jesus, I feel like we're the only 2 people that know about this right now.
Probably.
So you can basically do that, but it does it for you. You can be like, I want Coke, but I want, orange
I want
flavoring
Coke
in
with
it.
orange flavoring in it.
Which, by the way, is delicious. If you ever go to Coke Freestyle Machine, Coke with orange flavoring is so good.
And you can do like chocolate flavored Sprite.
Right, yeah, you can do all kinds of craziness with it.
Okay, the closest one of these to me is the Six Flags, which is like 30 miles.
The Wawas?
And that's a Coke
Oh,
Freestyle
Coke
machine.
Freestyle Machine. That makes sense.
Oh, also
I guess
Jordan.
must
And
Um,
then nowhere else except for Six Flags, which is in like a theme park.
I think I topped that with it being like 400 miles.
Touche, Will. Touche.
Jordan.
yes.
For your information, there are 2 pages of Wawa results for Orlando, and there's 4 pages of 7-Eleven results.
Well, I believe that most of the 7-Elevens are closed down anyway. So
They just look like it if they aren't.
they're just still on Google for whatever reason. Anyway, Wawa and Coke Freestyle are amazing. But
Yes.
in other news, hey, it's been a couple weeks since we've seen each other. So Devin, why don't you start?
Okay.
And I will preface you starting with we should probably talk at some point about like what I have to do on Friday and or before Friday.
Okay.
Okay, go.
So maybe after session.
Yeah.
Really, it's been actually I had a car show that I was hosting in Orlando not last weekend, but the weekend before last.
Define hosting.
My car group was setting up a car show for the greater Orlando area and further than at Orlando Live Events.
Gotcha.
We had 64 or 5 vehicles show up.
That's pretty
I
good.
think. Yeah, it was pretty good for like a first time event here. We had people from obviously Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, Maryland, South Carolina, and maybe one other state that I'm forgetting. But yeah, so we had people from all over the place come down. It was pretty cool.
That's pretty awesome.
And then that was last weekend, right? Last weekend was Veterans Day. Yeah. So that was last Saturday. That was pretty cool. And now my car is super bright orange.
Did you get it painted?
I did plasti dip.
Oh, right. Peel paint.
Yeah.
I was
Correct.
really confused. What's that got to do with the 11th of November?
Oh,
In America,
no.
on that day, we all just paint our cars orange. It's a tradition. Will, I didn't know that you didn't know that. God, silly Brits.
That's good. But other than that, it's pretty much been the same, except for the fact that I will be unavailable for play for at least the next 2 weeks, maybe the next 3 weeks. One, I'm getting married next Saturday. Or Friday, sorry.
Hold
next
on.
Friday.
Jesus
Accept the
Christ.
excuse.
Devin, you almost fucking made me lose my mind.
No, next Friday. And then I will be out of town for the week after that. And
Acceptable.
then the weekend after that, I will most likely be helping Amy move to Orlando because she finally got a job in the same city that I live.
Yay.
Hooray.
That's really good. I'm very
So
happy
now we'll
about
be
that.
married, and then we'll actually be living together, like a normal people do.
To be fair, you guys have been living together for like almost 5 years now.
I
Longer
don't
than
know
that?
what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then we've also been living apart for like
Sure.
6 months.
Be good to have her back.
Yeah. So I will probably be unavailable for those 3, and then I feel like not too long after that's Christmas. So
Correct. There will be some scheduling conflicts, obviously, with Christmas.
December's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
Agreed. Agreed.
But other than that, yeah, that's about it. I will find a picture and I will show you all my orange car because it's amazing.
Good. I hope to just see it, perhaps.
Well, yeah. Well, you'll see it at latest. When you come in on Thursday, Wednesday, Friday?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay,
we'll
talk
talk.
about that.
Because I don't. This is. I was informed that I should probably be proactive about finding out, like, what time I'm supposed to be at certain locations.
I'll have to coordinate with Emmy. She has all that info.
Yeah, see? First of all, let me just back up. Megan's the one who told me that I had to figure out all this stuff. So,
And that
Megan,
there might be a rehearsal dinner.
I
and
will
other
remind
things
you
that
my
need to
exact
happen.
wording. My exact wording was, Devin has no idea. Why would I ask him?
Boys.
That's funny.
And
God.
her response was, because he's the groom, he should at least know. And I was like, no, you don't
Actually-
understand.
Seriously, until like 2 weekends ago, I had heard, but then forgot what time the wedding was. So until 2 weekends ago, when I actually looked at an invitation again, I remembered.
Seems correct.
And now, yeah, 5 p.m.
I'm glad you know when your own wedding is.
Yes. Why would it be unable to load file? Sorry, go ahead.
Well, that's fantastic. Will, hello?
Hello. Yeah, these weeks seem to have just flown by for me. Suppose is a good thing? Question mark. Yeah. Been playing a few games. Obviously, Don't Starve together with
Holy
last
shit,
night.
that was
Oh yeah,
fun.
how'd that go?
Really well. But goddamn, I died the night winter ended.
Yeah,
Oh well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on.
I was all alone by myself.
But yeah, we actually managed
Also, can we just
Yeah,
talk?
it's-
Can we just real talk? Anyone who ever, I'm banning Strongman from that game,
Oh god, yes.
dude.
Ah,
Jackson was playing
Jackson
Strongman,
played
and I
Strongman.
swear to God, he ate 3 times the amount of food that we ate.
Yeah, what's the benefit of
So
it?
it's
Do you
like
carry a
true
lot
to
of
real
shit?
life.
When he's full on hunger,
He's like
he essentially
invincible.
does like 3 times as much damage.
Oh, okay. That's
Right.
what it is.
Yeah. So like when he was full on hunger, he was like one-shotting rabbits with the archery mod, which was
Yeah, but
great.
Food's really difficult to come
Yeah,
by.
but like he couldn't kill enough rabbits to even sustain himself. So me and Will were just like
Yeah.
constantly feeding him, and then we got really far behind.
Yeah. Don't worry, Mama Will was sorting out all
Aw.
the food.
Yeah, Mama Weber was helping
How
us out.
many people can you play on that game
6.
now?
I think 6, yeah.
Yeah.
But that would be fucking chaos, I feel
Oh,
like.
God.
I
Could you
feel
imagine?
like if you have 6 people, what you need to do is not be in the same camp. You need to like,
Right, you have to have like
spread
2
out
separate
across
like,
the
groups of
maps.
3.
Right, yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. 'Cause 6 people is unsustainable in a geographical area the size of what you can travel in a single day.
Yeah.
It would actually be beneficial because then you could both have multiple camps going. So then if one goes down, you can all just rotate. Like that would actually be
Be the
that'd
way to
actually
do
be
it.
Mm.
Yeah, Matt, you
Yeah.
would not have detrimented us at all. We were dead probably like midwinter. We just held on for so long.
I don't. Yeah, I didn't want to be the straw that broke the camel's
No.
back.
Like I said, we had Jackson, so
He did virtually nothing.
all he did.
Will.
Listen. All he did was he wanted to build all of the things. He wanted to
Oh,
just
God.
build all of the
Like
items.
the wall that one time.
That was one of the
To
funniest
build the
things I've
wall.
ever seen in my entire life.
I still blame Matt for that one. 100% blame Matt.
I was playing Wendy, and Abigail is an absolute beast. She
Oh,
ki-
I love Abigail.
She kills all the dogs. It's amazing. Dogs don't even
She's
kill
so
it. Like,
broken.
yeah, we don't even have to like run from dogs. We just have to not get hit by them, and Abigail will kill them all.
Also, you can just like stand Abigail near a pond with frogs, and
Yep.
she just like harvests all of them. It's so good.
Yep.
She does go crazy pretty quickly, but other than that, she's good.
Yeah, sanity was a big issue for us.
Not for me. I was fine on sanity the whole time.
Because you kept on eating all the blue mushrooms.
Oh,
Ooh, there was a
farm your own
twinge of-
green mushrooms.
bitterness there.
So that's my car.
It looks good.
FYI.
Did you just go like
Nice.
run outside and take that picture?
No.
Aw, that would have been a better story.
I mean, it is right outside my house, so
Yeah.
that did happen
It's-
at some point, just not today.
But yeah,
Well, anything else, Will?
Yeah, I've also got Tooth and Tail.
What?
See. Okay, none of you apart from Matt have heard of it. It's basically a controller-based RTS. So super simplistic, super streamlined.
So awful. Sure.
No, it's actually really good. I mean, I get wrecked in the multiplayer like all RTSs, but no, I've been enjoying the.
Oh, I've
single
actually
player.
seen this one. Yeah.
Mm.
It was super cute. There was all animals and they had like machine guns and stuff, right?
Yeah, no, it's the art style is great. I love it. So yeah, definitely just give it a gander. And yeah,
You can play multiplayer with this, right? Like online multiplayer stuff?
yeah, you can.
Cool.
That's awesome. Megan, hi, hello.
Hi, hello. I don't have any interesting stories at all, actually.
Sorry. I'm looking at the photos, and I just want to play this just for the badger.
Right? I know, I saw that too.
That looks badass.
I don't know. It's been a long time, I know, but not a whole lot's happened with me. I've been fine, actually. My kids have been atrocious. But I only have 2 days of school next week, so it'll be good.
Nice.
Yeah, I have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday off. Because public school.
Yay.
So that's gonna be fun and good times. Got to play Divinity again yesterday. That was fun. That was a good time.
And miraculously, nothing bad happened to her.
Oh my god. Nobody was.
Well, I don't believe you now.
It was one of the greatest things that's ever occurred on this show.
I was talking to this very nice lady, and she said that she was going to give me a gift, and then she turned out to be a were-spider and attacked me, and now I have some horrible venomous spider stuff going through my veins, and I almost died. It was horrible. It was the worst day of my life.
Oh, yes.
She's also now a were-spider.
Yeah, I even got an achievement for it, which I
Well,
don't
that
want.
sounds great for someone who loves spiders.
Oh yeah, no, my absolute horror when she literally turned into this ginormous spider. It was horrible. It was the worst. I was freaking done at that point.
Yeah, she bit her lip.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It was not a good day. It always happens to me. Oh, and I got my neck licked again yesterday.
Oh yeah, right. So the other thing was there was a dog who ran up and tackled her and started licking her neck, but then she had an allergic reaction and it
got diseased.
Yeah, got diseased
I couldn't get rid
from
of
it
for a while.
So you got licked by a dog on the neck in Divinity? That sounds like a really weird thing to happen.
I guess that sentence is kind of strange.
The game is all inclusive.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you're talking about video games, even RPG video games, dogs, okay, cool, that works. But licking someone, pretty uncommon in a video game.
Not for her character.
Licking someone on the neck. Why is it that specific? That's awesome.
Well, it's also hilarious because everybody always touches her neck and stuff, and she's a lizard person. So her neck's exceptionally long and scaly. So it actually kind of makes sense that everybody touches her on the neck.
There's a lot of real estate.
Because there's more neck to touch.
I don't know, but it's happened at least 4 times in this playthrough, and I just don't appreciate it. Okay, I need my personal space, people.
Pretty fantastic every time it happens. Great, good, awesome. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Matt. Hello.
Jordan.
It's been a couple weeks. How are you?
I'm fine. Things are going okay.
Good.
Applying, other than I guess the crazy music my neighbors just decided to turn up for no goddamn reason right now.
Is that mild humming that's in the background?
Yeah, I can kind of hear it.
Not super excited about that, but I'm gonna maybe investigate that. Anyway, things are fine. Just working on this technique development grant, which is actually kind of cool. Might get some more money for the lab. Beyond that, just busy. Not a ton to share this week.
That's good. Good.
I mean, told Will science is a fickle mistress.
Indeed she is.
Yeah.
Me personally, I've still been on vacation. My last upcoming week of vacation. The grind, unfortunately. Other than that, it's kind of been so-so, I would say. Gotta go. One of my cats, Haribo, is having some issues. I'm not really sure. I think she's got worms again, so I gotta take her into the vet sometime this week and get her checked out, which is always stressful because it's an expense, but I love my cats, so gotta do it. Other than that, I marked the date in which I took my first breath, so that was good. It was a fun time. It was a decent birthday. And other than that, I've just been kind of waiting for games to happen and for things to do. Oh. It's kind of my life right now. So I'm super excited for this one in particular. Because we ended on an interesting note. I make a tradition, especially when there's been like a couple of weeks, to go back and listen to the how everything, like the tone of how everything ended. And I remembered that there was Felix who was almost dead. So.
Ooh, you said almost dead. That's encouraging.
Yeah, because I mean, remember, you don't know if he's dead yet or not technically, because all you received was a video. Listen, this is kind of like science fiction, right? Where if you don't see a body, there may never be an actual death, right?
It's true, and even if we did see a body, we still fixed somebody who was dead. So
yeah, we know that space magic occurs within this system. But kind of on that subject, as last time on Olympus.
Bravo.
That one may be too exciting for this episode.
Perhaps. We encountered some interesting events. We escaped the Mansion of Death, which is probably the biggest one that occurred. In doing so, the ship's a little fucked up. You have this crazy, obviously altered in some way passenger girl alien on your ship, with her hamster pet, hedgehog pet, whatever you want to call it.
Tentacle pet, depending on which form it's in.
Correct.
True.
And that part in and of itself has caused some issues, I think, within the crew. There was this weird interaction between Oscar and the girl, which I think kind of perhaps raised Oscar's hackles a little bit, because there is something here that is not great going on. In addition to that, there was a strange interaction desire with Chan, right? That kind of had a weird, profound effect on Chan himself, in which he kind of for the first time ever expressed not ill will, but being uncomfortable with someone else on board or in the general proximity of himself, right? Because it's definitely not like Chan to complain, and even far less like Chan to state an opinion about somebody, right? Because that's not things that Chan has, or at least vocally has.
Or to state serious discomfort around another individual.
Right. Which obviously probably affected Gogo in certain manners. There were some things going on with Dr. Fisher as well, in the reference to you have to solve the radiation crisis, or you solved the radiation crisis, right? And now there's the possibility of this weird Tan disease that is existent in a couple of the crew members, yourself included. It hasn't manifested itself yet, but who knows when it would, right? Or if it would. There's also the possibility that this may be a species specific type of disease. But you also know that anything that your human bodies have not encountered before is exceptionally dangerous, right? Because you have no defenses against it, whatever it might be. So there's that. Must now figure out as well. But curing yourselves of, or at least taking the steps to cure yourselves of the radiation sickness that you had, or the symptoms of the radiation sickness at the very least, that you had all encountered was important and successful. Also, there was another interesting thing that happened in the fact that when attempting to like drill out of the system, there was a strange interaction with the ship. Even though Gogo knows that everything was calculated properly, at least in her mind, you ended somewhere you weren't supposed to be. You weren't really sure where it was, and after kind of like backtracking and making the jump again, you were able to triangulate a location to being one of three unexplored sectors of space that lie in between this whole area, and that's what these three large orbs are for. The purpose of them is to reflect that you're not sure which one of those three you were in. You maybe have to like travel back, which I told you that at a penalty, you can trace your steps to go back to wherever you were. Because so here's like the deal is you don't just come out of drill space anywhere. You have to be like in the proximity of some sort of gravitational well. That's kind of like the deal with the way that travel works, right? If you don't aim at a gravitational well, there's nothing to stop you from just infinitely going off into the abyss forever. That's one of the dangers of just, space venturing in general, is just getting stuck in drill space forever, which we almost had happen that one time when Fortune was freaking out because it was taking like twice as long to get somewhere than it should have. I don't know if Fortune thought it was fine. So, with that being said, upon
Sorry, I was muted.
Did Fortune think that was fine?
No, because Fortune's been stuck in drive space before.
Right, yeah, for extended periods of time.
Yeah, more than like the extra day it took us. It was, yeah.
All right.
Flashbacks,
So, the finale of our episode last time was after making it into Thune space, right, into 0209, a location which you guys have visited before, and somehow not burned all of your contacts on it and made it a hell planet for yourselves. I don't know how you did that. It's literally like the only planet that you've ever done that on.
It's not our fault. Everyone else is stupid.
Yeah.
No, we really are nice people. I don't know why.
I don't know how Dr. Fisher
do you
would feel about
disagree, Dr. Fisher? Excuse me?
Oh, no.
You're one of these
course
people.
not.
You're not allowed to disagree.
Yeah, you are one of us now, whether you like it or not, okay?
that. Gogo received a message shortly after entering the system from Felix, her father. Now, the piece of information I purposely left off of the message last week, or the last time we played, was that the shock of seeing this obviously kind of probably put Gogo in maybe some sort of odd state of mind. But I think the one thing, and this is for your knowledge, and you can do with it what you will, Gogo, you realize that the message was sent recently, like, because the way that mail travels is via ship across sectors, it's still fast enough to almost instantly be beamed to like the broadcast station to be put on a ship. So this message you've received is probably no longer than like 10 minutes old at the very most.
Good enough to save him.
Right, but like, where do you go, Gogo? Like, how does that plan get enacted?
I think after the initial shock and grief of receiving a message like this and knowing it was directly her fault that he put himself at risk because of her, I think she immediately goes in search of someone who's better with technology than she is to try to track where this beam came from. At the very least, she knows that somebody can ping the data pad, but who knows if we actually have the capability for that.
Yeah, and remember, there's also some interesting geographical concerns with Thune, right? First of all, the air is noxious, right? Like it's unbreathable to humans. Tan would be particularly susceptible to it. Sriak probably would be able to last a little bit longer because of just the way that their biology works. But also, like on the other hand, that doesn't mean there's nothing living on the planet. There are certainly things that have adapted to the particularly toxic environment that Thune has. So on top of perhaps scavenging or predatory creatures, there's also just the general risk of exposure on the planet. The good news is you guys all have super hyper advanced envirus suits now, right? So it should be no
Heck yeah.
be no problem.
Conveniently.
So who would you find first, or who do you think you would run into first? Because that might not be the same person, right? Like, you may go to see Fisher, but who do you meet first?
That's a good question.
Probably
Or
Chan.
Probably
even.
Chan would be
Right.
my guess. I would be going to find Fisher, but my guess is Chan would be either with me or
Yeah.
really close to me regardless. So I
Yeah,
guess I'd
probably.
run into him first.
Yeah, probably like, because again, he has this like sixth sense for knowing when you need attention and not, because he's the best Bae.
It's true.
I think that probably like as you walk out of your room, you begin like kind of like the in a haze plod towards, you know, wherever you assume Dr. Fisher might be. And Chan probably like approaches you for a moment, takes stock of the situation, immediately recognizes that something's wrong. But instead of asking that, I think what he says is he goes, Go. Are you well? Is there something that I can get for you, perhaps?
She's in this kind of fog. She kind of like focuses on him, and she's like, "No, I'm fine. Chan, have you seen Fisher? Something's terribly wrong with my." And she's like, kind of like, still holding the data pad in her hand, with probably the still of the video still up. And so she's just kind of like looking at it and then looking at him, and I need Fisher. Have you seen him? Maybe you can help. Actually, do you know anything about messages? And she's just kind of like rambling a bit.
I think that perhaps you don't notice this right away, but Chan has taken on probably a different visage lately. He's becoming a little bit more relaxed in his usual like very kept and proper garb, and so I think that you see him. He's probably got like what you would assume like a mechanic or an engineer would be wearing on a ship. You know, he's probably got a jumpsuit that's rolled down to the waist. You can see that his shirt underneath probably has some like grease stains on it, and he's got a data slab like kind of over his shoulder in like a messenger bag. And he pulls it around and he opens it up and he begins typing into it very, very quickly. Dr. Fisher, where are you at this moment?
Same place I'll be every night.
Good.
Trying to take over the world. Sorry.
Good. So he types and he says, Dr. Fisher is in the medical wing. I can escort you there if it is necessary. Is there any danger?
Not for us currently, but for someone else. Yes, thank you. And then she kind of like looks at him a little strange, like, how do you all of a sudden have a ping on where everybody is in the ship? And then immediately thinks else is more important and kind of goes off in that direction.
Yeah, well, he probably says, very well, I will clear a path for you. and he like closes the data slab and like slides it back around. And you see that he actually like straightens his clothing out and then steps in front of you to walk in front of you and guide you to where you need to go, which is also unlike Chan. Chan is a follower, right? He's not a leader in any regards. But yeah, he visibly steps in front of you, and I think that like there's probably a moment like maybe you're walking past Oha's quarters, and Oha opens the door and goes to walk out, and Chan like holds his hand out and like holds her back, and she kind of like steps back and like kind of looks strangely at the both of you, as you like kind of move past her, and he's basically like carving a path, the most direct path through the ship towards Dr. Fisher, and I think that as he walks in, Dr. Fisher may be startled out of some stupor that you've been dwelling in because you're Dr. Fisher. Chan comes in and he says, "Dr. Fisher, Gogo needs assistance immediately."
Hi, Chan. Yes, bring her in.
Yeah, and you just like come in after him, Gogo. And Chan actually, he steps outside the door as it closes behind him, and he stands there.
Dr. Fisher, do you happen to know how to track messages from their point of origin? I know that there's a way to do it. I don't. And she's kind of like half-heartedly holding out her data pad.
Wait, you're not injured? You don't have women's problems?
No. And I'm gonna overlook that last comment. Do you know how to do it or not?
I can try.
It's really important. And like you've never seen Gogo more sincere. Or at least in a long time you haven't seen her this sincere.
Sure. I take the data slab.
Yeah, so like the image that's on the screen is probably just like a black fuzzy image, right? Because the comp had like collapsed on Felix's chest as the message was sending. But you see the message details. You know, it's about a minute long video message. It has like visibly where it came from, right? So it came from Sector 0209 Exchange Mail Beacon. And then it has the timestamp, which is probably at this point like 15 or 20 minutes in the past. Corresponding with about the time you like you warped into the sector. So tracing mail obviously is a task that is done and definitely possible. But I wouldn't call it easy. The exchange themselves in controlling all of the money also have pretty good security measures in place to prevent this kind of hack. However, this is probably, it's probably a computer's check.
Brilliant. Okay. Yes.
With intelligence. Yeah, with intelligence. You trying to get your roll in real quickly there, Dr. Fisher?
Yes,
I
great,
don't know
good,
what you're
perfect.
talking about. But yes, I am definitely rolling.
Oh my god, Will, please.
Format.
Ooh.
10 is a lot better than 5.
10 is indeed a lot better
In fact,
than
one
5.
would say it's double.
So, Dr. Fisher, with a 10, I think that you're able to lock down So, the way things work is it's similar to like how cell service works, right? Where there's messaging stations on the planet that beam out to a satellite that beam out to the exchange mail beacon, right? Most of these are controlled by the exchange, but some of them are not, right? Some of them are privately controlled by other corporations, other companies that want their own messaging services outside of the exchange regulations, that kind of stuff. So I think that what you are able to do is lock down a specific area. And okay, good. And the name, and I don't remember if this is correct, but this is what it's called now. Is called the Devil's Bank. That's like what the translated name comes out to, as the most logical geographical location for the source of this signal. Now, that means nothing to you, except Go-Go, you know that this is part of that closed down raceway, because it became too deteriorated and too dangerous, even for Thune, and they decided to close down this one particular... it was part of a marathon track, where, you know, you would race for multiple days at a time, sometimes without sleep even, and it is widely regarded as one of the most life-claiming parts of the raceway, right? And it became even more so is because it was so far removed from civilization that derelicts kind of were just left there. So the longer and longer that the raceway was under use, the more and more debris and wreckage and general, you know, grossness ended up. And you also recall that is where there was mention of it before by Felix when you were talking to him the last time you were here on Thune.
Did he, and this is purely because I forget, did he mention the job that he was planning to do there, or
it was a salvage mission?
Or was it just
okay. He mentioned that it was a salvage mission to recover a very expensive artifact, or very expensive material, is what he said. Which is totally reasonable because things like this are pretty common on Thune, where you go to dilapidated raceways, or even not dilapidated raceways, right? Even stuff where there are derelicts or wrecks that haven't been cleaned up yet, and salvagers will go out there with their equipment, salvage the wreck, and then sell it for money, right? It's probably a pretty booming business on Thune. The Devil's Bank, though, is probably one of those you don't go out there unless you really have to, or perhaps you need some sort of, like, you have a really big backing behind you.
Yeah, or you're a huge group who has...
yeah. Like, you go and you set...
equipment and a large amount of...
Like, you go and set up a base camp, and then you salvage, not you just go there and find stuff. Because, and this is another thing is, on Thune, there is even danger to, like, external structures, including spaceships as well, due to the, like, toxicity and general deterioration that is in the atmosphere. So even leaving stuff out too long can cause it to become unstable or cause damage to it. Which is usually why salvage missions are a single group goes out in a ship, they come back within a couple of days, and that's it. So, because remember when you guys landed, you were all inside bubbles, right? Like, even the ship, like, landed inside of a hangar, which then was, you know, cleansed, and then you disembarked and got into another, like, giant bubble city, basically. But without that sort of protection, there's problems.
Yeah, so I guess hearing that location from Dr. Fisher, I think Go-Go just, like, sighs and kind of, like, shakes her head, and she's just like, of course that's where you are. Well, I guess that's where we're going. And she kind of, like, looks at Fisher.
Should we be worried?
Well, you're always worried, aren't you? So...
Yes, I suppose. You would have thought I got used to it by now.
Yeah,
but
one would think.
It's still as terrifying as ever.
You're gonna have to get over that soon, Fisher. We wouldn't
Don't worry, I keep like monitoring my hearts every half hour. It's fine.
Good, yeah. I was about to say, we wouldn't want you to have some sort of heart attack. Well, and then I think she reaches out and like grabs the data pad before you can actually like look at the message. And then it's just thank you, Fisher. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And she's already like turned and started to walk away by the time you said you're welcome.
Yeah, so I want to go to the other two crew members. Because this is all probably happening like during the refuel, right? Like you arrive at the exchange beacon. By the time you get the message, look at the message, you probably docked. It's probably getting refueled. There's probably like nearing the end of that process. So for Fortune and Oscar, what are you guys doing during this like small period of downtime between jumps? Because this is when you guys receive like mail and messages, or can send messages, that kind of stuff.
Actually, I need to check my character sheet real quick. So if
Oscar, do you have anything that you would be doing? I know that you had some perhaps concerns that maybe have come up or needed to be talked about.
I think if anything, he's probably still very much on guard about their cargo, so to speak. And given that in their conversation, when they first got aboard and he found Amelia, she seemed to indicate that she might, at least if not currently, very soon be one of many. And that's maybe a little bit alarming.
Mm-hmm.
So he knows that either Chan, Oha, or both collected some information about what is her father's name? Amelia's father.
That is a great.
we don't know.
question.
So Amelia's dad.
Yeah.
Wait, was it?
No, I think I gave it to.
Yeah, it was one of those things that like came up once, maybe when you were
Yeah.
describing the actual contract, but
No, I think it was in the documents
Oh.
that I found.
Yeah, in the house.
Yeah.
I didn't. Surprisingly, I didn't write it down. If you did tell me.
That's okay. His name, because you would know this, you would know who like gave you the contract.
Yeah,
it's probably Johan, right?
Okay. So I think Oscar in in this little bit of downtime would be trying to dig up a little bit more information on him to then decide what his personal next course of action is going to be about that. So he'd probably go and I guess it was Gogo that found it and then Chan helped you make sense of it?
Yeah, because Chan has a very organizational mind, right? Like
sure.
when set to a task, he can arrange things in certain ways that people just wouldn't even consider.
Yeah, and I also definitely would have given all that information to you guys post like mission and stuff. I wouldn't have kept that. Especially I would have
so as a generic kind of reminder, it's clear that Johan Fortan is an inventor of sorts, and dabbles in a little bit of everything, like all the way from Maltech, basically, right? When we're talking about artificial intelligence, to these weird, like, experiments with radiation, obviously. These
and murder children.
Yeah, exactly. Murder assassin children. The weird robot things, which also are like an above advanced level like robot technology, but also there were some other things too, right? Like he'd made great leaps and bounds in like the agricultural world. He also invented like a couple of. He was an engineer as well. Like he built a lot of the prototypes himself, obviously. But the things that he was probably like publicly known for, and by public I mean in the Ton verse, right? Because the Ton are very secretive, very, very, only themselves. They don't interact a whole lot with the outside world. Was Sasha. That was his big like kind of crowning achievement. That he was publicly known for. At least, like I said.
Well,
to the Ton.
After, for a number of reasons, not least of all because he's making soldiers that he reckons he could have a very difficult time dealing with were he on the wrong side of this person. His goal right now is to just learn whatever he can about him.
Yeah.
To see if potentially when they go deliver her, he can either, get on good terms with them, like as a crew, or, maybe put a knife in him.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So
I guess my question to you is,